cloud computing. Does that make any sense to you at all?
Not much.
Not yet? Okay. Excellent. So I told you that I had been working on my presentation to you on this. And I had been. But I'd also been working on it on my laptop. And I'd also been working on it when I was in my office on my desktop. And the reason I could do that was because my presentation is actually out in the cloud. It's not a file that I have in my computer or on my, I don't even know where I am. It's not on my flash drive. It's not on my computer. It's out in the cloud, and I can go find it and work on it from any machine I'm on. That is the big promise of the cloud. So let's go take a look at the cloud. Before I get to the cloud solves a fundamental problem. Are you familiar with this? This is a picture, it's hard to tell in this, but this is a can opener. I think there's a screwdriver, there's some scissors, this is an old CD. This is a drawer in a kitchen. Now, in most kitchens that I've been to, there's a cabinet for like dishes and glasses and things, and there's a drawer for silverware, maybe a drawer for knives, another has canned food. But always somewhere in that kitchen there's a drawer that looks like this. And it's the miscellaneous drawer. It's the place where you put all the things that don't have a place. Do you anybody have one of these in their house? Okay, good, good. So it's not just me. I feel better. So we do the same thing, and I'm sure you've had this challenge. We do the same thing with our documents. Does my document belong in this folder or that folder? This is because we're imagining documents using this metaphor of physical documents and physical folders, which was a really useful document, or a really useful metaphor to have when we were first learning how to interact with technology, because that was familiar. But it also has built into it fundamental problems, because it makes us use files as if they were physical objects, but they're not. So the cloud lets us use them. Yes, they don't go on your thumb drive like this. One of the problems of using them is if they were physical objects. If you collaborate, have you written a paper together? Have you planned a conference together? Have you done anything like this where you send out a document, your friends need to work on it, make some changes, they send it back to you. So now you have a copy, each of them has a copy. Now you have 4 more copies of yours, but with their changes. You have to make the changes, you send that out again. Now there are 30 or 40 copies of this document. Which one is the right copy? Have you ever gotten lost doing this kind of collaboration? It's crazy, and this is the problem that the cloud solves. In the cloud, there's a single document. It might be Rachel's document, and then she shares it with Sally and Bob and John. Each of them can make changes to it, but the document is just one. It's not anywhere else, and all the changes appear there. And every previous change, the whole history of that document, is also there. You can always go back and look at a previous version. And then, if this is a presentation that I'm doing in Russia, I might put it in my Russia file. But if it's also a presentation that I just want to keep, I might also put it in my presentations file. And if it was a terrible presentation, I might put it in a file that says redo this presentation. And again, it'll be one document, but it'll be in all 3 places. So if I open one folder and I make a change to that document, it's changed everywhere else. Does that make sense? So that's what the cloud is about. It's moving away from the notion that we have the hardware, but we don't need the software, because the software now has been pushed to the cloud. Here's an example from last week. I was having a faculty meeting. This was our agenda. Most of my faculty were in the room. A few of my faculty were away. They were calling into the meeting. So you can see those 4 colored squares are the 4 people who are editing the document while we're talking, typing in the notes about our meeting. Here you can see one person is editing here, it's the orange, another person is editing here, it's the green. And over here is a chat window where we're asking and answering questions about the document. So we're communicating via chat, we're talking on the phone, we're talking in the room, we're making changes, but we only have one document. So after the meeting, each of us won't have our own version with our own set of notes. We have one document with all the notes in one place. That's how it works in that way. Another nice thing about the cloud is that it makes it very, very easy to publish websites. Websites have gotten much easier to publish, but most of the ones that are easy, like a Facebook page, for example, are challenging to manage the privacy on. And they carry a lot of extra things like ads and games. And so to make educational websites, the cloud is wonderful. We've just launched this. Our teachers have to graduate. They have to create a portfolio of their work as a teacher. And we've moved our portfolios to the cloud. And so they're able to put this, you can see the tabs along the top. We create a very simple template, and then they fill it in. So it's not about learning the technology, it's about displaying what they know. We're also running a pilot with an elementary school. So this is a first grader's art section of his portfolio. This gets back to the notion of three-dimensional things. Everything on the web is two-dimensional, it's flat. And it's inherently somewhat less interesting than three-dimensional things that you can hold. So kids want to do things. They want to make a painting or a drawing. What this lets you do is take a photo of that. So you're not changing the physical things that you want to do with people. This, in his case, is a picture of a trash mound brute, which is a type of not-so-big trash monster. So he's doing his art. There is no lack of creativity in his approach, and yet he gets to capture that, put it on the web. His parents get to see what he's doing in school, and he puts his favorite things on his portfolio. So we're using it with teachers, we're using it with kids. It's essential, though, when you're working with, at least for us, and working with our students, that our students have control over the information that they're sharing. So it's a little unnerving. You're putting your material out onto the cloud. How do I control who sees it? And it comes with this kind of control. You can make it public. You can make it just someone you send the link to. You can make it everyone within the school. Or you can make it entirely private and just for you. So that's another thing that the cloud lets us do. This is an example of who I might have shared a document with, and you can see I'm the owner. The next person has the ability to edit, but I can also say you can only look at it. You can't change it, you can look at it. So it's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. And if this menu looks at all familiar, that's all you need to understand in order to create very complex and complete portfolios or websites using the cloud. In this case, we're mostly using Google's free services. Google Mail, maybe many of you have. Google Documents is where these examples are coming from, Google Sites. And there are other services out there. I want to make a point, though. There's an interesting piece. Google is giving us this for free. Why? Why would they do that? We're not paying with money. We're paying with data. So the material that we put into the cloud, we don't have to pay for this service, and it's a wonderful service. I love it. But we have to be aware that we're giving them permission to search our materials and to understand what sorts of things we are thinking about in order to better sell things to us when we're in our Gmail later and the little ad pops up. So I work in a master's program, and so a lot of my documents talk about master's in English teaching programs. And so in my ads, I get a lot of ads to go to a master's program and teach English. So their system doesn't work perfectly, but it's clear that that's what they're doing. So we're paying with our data. All right, that's the cloud. And now I'd like to move over to the title. We were talking about the flipped classroom. This is some of the things that we can actually do. We'll get to a more practical level here. I think the cloud is practical, but maybe not ready for everyone. Oh. I forgot to tell you